Hey everyone, welcome back to Listen Up Santa Paula. My name is James, and this is
John. Yeah, good to be here.
They should know that by now.
I know they should know our name, but it's still
Okay.
good to introduce ourselves.
Yeah.
Yeah, it makes us feel
Yeah.
better.
But I had two pieces of good news today.
Okay.
You had a great meeting, successful one, and I had a friend who just got nominated he did his audition for the Magic Castle and was accepted.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah. And we
Yeah.
had a great meeting yesterday with the Tourism Bureau.
Yeah.
So
Things are looking good. in
things
Santa Paula
are,
and on the
yeah,
whole
they're-
valley right now.
yeah, things are
Yeah.
really starting to
So
fall into place.
we're a little tired. It was a long day
Oh,
yesterday,
gosh.
but we're here.
So we're going to take a brief nap. Well, we do this.
Rough Edge FM. Irritatingly irresistible internet radio at roughedgefm.com.
There's so much going on in your community that even in this age of information, it's tough to keep up. This show will help. It's all about what's new, what's happening, and what's out there. So if you're ready, sit back and listen up, Santa Paula.
All right. What happened to our producer?
Our producer kind of got distracted a little bit. So.
I know.
Wow. Okay.
I got to confess. Yesterday we were doing the forums.
Correct.
And Jonathan was running it on channel 10. So periodically he's sitting there texting me.
Me too. He's texting me.
Yeah.
Too.
And so I would start texting back, realizing that, oh, shoot, I'm still on the other speaker. Instead of moving it over to the next candidate, I'm still on the old candidate because I was busy texting him.
Not focusing. Yeah.
No.
Oh, wow.
No. Let's talk about the Santa Paula Forum.
Sure. And then we'll talk a little bit about what you've been doing with the other forums too.
Sure. Okay.
So last night we had our candidates forum. So we had the first forum. We did 3 forums that night, three sets of it, which we've never done that much, but we felt it was very important to showcase what's going on right now. So the first one was our District 5 City Council, which had Leslie Cornejo, our current mayor, Christina Aguilar, and Tim Eubanks. And overall, I thought they all did well. You know, I mean, it's not easy getting up there and not knowing what the questions are and just trying to answer the best you can. So they all did a great job doing that. The audience had some fantastic questions. And so, you know, David Marin and the League of Women Voters, were co-hosting it with the chamber, and they did a fantastic job. And then you with the audio and the video, I mean, it was awesome what happened. I mean, the video was looking good. I mean, the audio was great, like our microphones. So
thanks to Athens.
Yes, Athens Services, one of our who provided us this through a sponsorship. So
Yes.
we appreciate that. But yeah, so we had that with the candidates forum for the city council. Then we moved on to the school board, which we had Danielle Sandoval, and then we had Robin Gillette, but she goes by, what was her name? That I'm trying to blank on her name that she goes by, but it was for the school board seat for District 2, if I'm remembering it. And so that was a good discussion too. And then the most intriguing discussion of the night was the Measure R. And that's what we wrapped it up with. And I appreciate all 4 that were up there, the 2 pro and 2 con, 2 against it. Very good discussion. There was some good questions. And you could see the passion and the heart on both sides of what's going on in our community.
I thought that was a good debate.
Yes, it was probably one of the better ones we've seen in a while when it came to that. But the audience was engaged. I love the fact the audience was engaged all night. And out of all the forums that I've been a part of, I think that's the best sets of questions we've had. And we got to a point where we even ran out of questions because, you know, everybody had kind of the same thought process and everything. But it was, I don't know how many questions.
We only ran out of questions on Measure R.
Yeah, but it covered it. But all the questions covered most of the topics and stuff. So, but overall, I think it was a great evening for all the participants. The audience, like I said, was really engaged and they were all looking forward to it. We probably had about maybe 50, 60 people there.
Yeah.
Plus what we had online. and we're luckily we at the last minute we made it available online as well. So, but those are the kind of debates we enjoy. You know, that it was everybody was gave their opinions, they gave their thoughts, they're passionate about what they do. And it's just good to see that. And Santa Paula has always been a good community to have these types of debates in these forums. And I don't know how it compares to other cities. I haven't really been in any other cities, but you've been part of several of them. You know, and thank you to you and White Rabbit Magic for actually producing everything. I forgot to thank you yesterday. And
I was going to say, so now I'm going to get the thank you.
Yeah, and you pointed that out to me, but you know, it's just I thought our co-sponsor was going to thank you, and apparently that didn't happen either.
He didn't on any of the forums.
But I do appreciate what you do and everything. That was a lot of work to put all that together, and top notch as far as how it came out. You know,
I got back about 11:30, so I'm the first one there, the last one to leave, and I'm the last one to get any acknowledgement.
Wow, we love you. We love what you're doing. Come on now, you know that.
I do.
So, but it you know, it was good because you've also been part of the other forums and doing that. So maybe kind of give a little description of what the other forums are like compared to ours.
So one of the things I found interesting on the Measure R was that everybody was focusing on the burden that it's going to cause to our city, and it's going to force our citizens to go outside. I don't think a lot of our citizens purchase locally. I think a lot of our business comes from the outside, which means that the outside is going to be the ones who are going to do the bulk of the supporting of this tax measure. Now, I'm kind of neutral on it. I do know people who are opposed to it. I do know people who are in favor of it. I'm definitely more on the conservative side about, you know, more taxes, you know, that kind of thing. But nobody really brought up that issue about how much of this is going to be supported by people coming in.
And there's a larger percentage than we think.
Yeah.
When you look at it. But if you look at like a lot of our citizens, because we don't have a lot of certain services, we tend to go outside of Santa Paula.
Right.
You know, and Oxnard's always the main area to go to. Camarillo is another one. But for the most part, you talk to a lot of our citizens here, they go to Oxnard. They'll go to like the larger box stores and all that stuff. And if you look at Oxnard, it's the highest percentage in the county. So I don't know if it's necessarily the tax rate or is it the convenience and the stuff they need. You know what I mean?
Right.
I mean, there's a combination of both. But I mean, when I need something and I can't find it here, I'll go to either, you know, Oxnard is one of my places I go to because I know they have what I need.
Right.
You know, and that's how I think a lot of people shop is, you have this much time in your life and you try and maximize it. So you're going to go where you're comfortable and where you know you're going to find what you need.
Well, so one of the forums that I went to was Oxnard. And in Oxnard, they actually vote for their mayor. So it's a separate office. Whereas in Santa Paula, city council votes for the mayor. One of the things in Oxnard is they get $17 million in tax revenue from Amazon. And one of the things they're talking about, one of the questions that came up is the state is actually looking at reconfiguring how that tax is paid. So Oxnard stands to lose maybe more than half of that $17 million tax revenue, which sucks for them, but it will provide benefit to Santa Paula.
All the other
because now we'll start seeing some of that tax money that's being purchased from Amazon.
Yeah.
In Moore Park, I think we had the biggest attendance out of all three. I did Fillmore, Moore Park, and Oxnard. The debates, the way the League of Women Voters does it, the debates tend to be pretty civil. Nobody's really, I mean, they're in both cases of city manager in Fillmore and in Oxnard, they didn't particularly care for the city manager. Here, I think our city manager is loved except by one of the candidates. But I will tell you in this one, if Tim wins, we're going to have much shorter
meetings.
council meetings, because man, he was like, he said what he needed to say and he was done.
Yeah.
And you can see that some candidates try to use the whole minute and 30
I
seconds.
kept watching the clock, and he just like said what he had to say. That's
Yeah.
it. Sat back, and he's like, there's no sense in prolonging it.
Yeah.
Adding more to it.
He was just like,
Yeah.
boom.
And you have to look at it both ways. Is that if you're coming and trying to make a decision on somebody, is he giving you enough?
Right.
And I mean, he was honest and upfront and said what he needed to say, but it was just like, for me, I don't know him very well,
Right.
and I would have liked to have heard more from him.
Sure.
Just to get to know who he is, and I think, and that's a tough thing for people that are going up there and doing that. How much do you actually say? How much do you tell people, who you are and stuff? And that gives you an opportunity to learn who they are. But I like the no nonsense approach. Just do what you do,
And I think the nice thing about it is when you have a candidate who is just saying the same thing over and over again, but just filling the void, but still saying the same thing, versus a candidate who says the same thing, but that's it. It's very direct and boom.
And there was some candidates, not just necessarily in the city council, but in the school board stuff, where they needed that minute and a half.
Oh
to get
yeah,
the point across.
Some of the questions, you couldn't
there's
do
two
within a minute.
questions in one, So it was a mixture of both, and I think all of them maneuvered through it really well. But sometimes as somebody coming in, you want to know who they are personally too.
Right.
And so, like, even with Christina last night, I mean, I've known her, not personally, but I've known who she is. And so it was good to hear her come out, and actually you could see the passion in her, how she cares about the community.
Right.
So it gave me a different outlook on her too.
And I think everybody running cares about the community.
And you can see it from our mayor. I mean, she did really well too. They all did well. They all did really well, and they conveyed who they were and what their thoughts were and stuff. And it's really, it's nerve-wracking to go up there, that, to get up in front of people. But I think after that first or second question, you could see them get comfortable, and the responses got much better as the night went on.
Right.
So
Fillmore, you can see the struggle in what they're trying to go through and trying to rebuild their city.
Mm-hmm.
Moore Park is kind of a lot of the same, because they don't have a lot of big box stores or anything like that in Moore Park, if I remember correctly.
It's a lot of industrial that they have.
Right.
There's just that one strip where there's a lot of the like the box stores and stuff. There's one little strip there where they have
right, but it's not like it's so I think they're constantly struggling with their revenue. Oxnard has a $35 million surplus this year.
Thanks to Amazon.
Thanks to Amazon. But even if Amazon went away, it would still be 17 million.
Exactly.
So they're doing pretty well.
So their concerns are a little different than what you see in Santa Paula or some of these other smaller cities, because they do have that revenue that they can pull from too. So the priorities tend to change a little bit when you have money to work with.
Should we put Jonathan on the air?
Why is he calling? Nah, let's not put him on. We'll talk to him after. Come on. We don't want to put him on the spot. Come on now.
Well, he should be here.
No. We have to schedule him as a guest.
Yeah.
So,
but
overall, to kind of sum up that is we're with the chamber. We were happy to provide that, and just so people know, the chamber currently doesn't take a stand on anything, but we want to make sure we present a good form to the people to make a good decision. And that's one thing we've always done as an organization, and we'll continue to do, but it's really good. But we felt that we needed to present everything for the public and give them that opportunity.
That's one of the things David's really good about.
Mm-hmm.
David is so dead set, dry, neutral.
Yeah.
Like zero emotions coming out of that guy, except for one. There was one forum, and the guy was talking about how you can't trust city government, and that the tax revenue that was coming in, he would spread it equally amongst all the the districts and stuff like that, and blah blah blah, and then he talked about 3 people that were on the council that are really good stewards of the money, and he says, "I salute you," and he stands up and he gives them a salute, and David's like, whoa, hey, we gotta sit down.
Yeah. David keeps a tight ship there, you know, and I know last night he was a little out of character when during the Measure R, when the opposition was challenging the questions about, you know, and
he actually
said,
cracked a joke.
I'm the one who asked the questions here, you know, whatever. So,
when the guy stood up, it reminded me, you know, Christmas Vacation, where the little grandma, the thing's shooting up in the air, and all of a sudden she goes, you know, I pledge allegiance or something like that, whatever it is, and then she goes, play ball.
Yeah,
that's all I thought about is when he went and did this, is that the rest of the audience goes and stands up, and they're like, okay. But
overall, I thought everybody did well. And it was,
all the forums.
And thanks to the city of Santa Paula for providing us the venue for it too. I mean, so that was good. And then, you know, their staff was great, helping us set up and stuff.
Yeah.
Too. So, overall, it's a good community effort to put this on. It really is.
I do want to say to the 2 staff members that were waiting for me to finish up and leave, I'm almost 60 years old. Lift a box for the man.
You should have asked them, because I was told if we needed some help, just to ask for it. So if you didn't ask, that's
I did not ask. I did not ask.
They would have helped you load the truck. They would have done all that.
Yeah,
I know those guys, and they would have not said no. You know,
no, I know.
You know, so that's on you.
Okay? I was just kind of waiting for him to go, man, this guy looks, but man, when I'm pulling out the case and I'm bringing it out, I'm walking like, you know what, Tim Conway on.
Well, they had carts back there. You could have used one of their carts.
I had my pull carts, but they're so stinking heavy, and it was just,
You had 2 people to help you last night.
Yeah,
I was, you know, so
I did
next time.
And I didn't say,
yeah. All right.
So we got Christmas coming up now.
Yeah, we got the holidays coming. You believe we're like less than 2 months from Christmas? It's crazy. So we actually have our Small Business Saturday and the holiday parade coming up on November 30th. It's Saturday after.
For the record, it's a little bit more than 2 months. Let's not rush it any more than it already is.
No, you know, the holiday season starts in November, though.
Yeah, I know.
So.
Oh, you're talking about the season.
The season.
Oh,
yeah,
gosh.
The season starts.
Yes.
You know, November 1st. We're in full.
Yeah.
Holiday mode. You know,
so less than a month.
Yeah, exactly. So.
Wow.
But you know, we have our holiday parade coming up. It's part of our Small Business Saturday event. We combine it this year. We actually, we actually provided an opportunity for our small businesses to give some feedback on this. So we created a marketing team, and you've been part of it too, to develop this holiday marketing program. And there's some really exciting things that'll be coming out soon. But we just felt that through the chamber that we wanted to hear from our businesses, our small businesses, to help craft what the narrative is going to be for the holidays. They came up with the Christmas theme, you know, Santa Paula Classic Christmas. They came up with the poster. So it's really cool to see that we're getting all of our businesses engaged to do this. So it's going to be a great event. You know, I know there's a couple of these holiday markets that the downtown business are going to do. There'll be one coming out the week before Thanksgiving, and there's one the week before Christmas, and that'll be on a Friday and a Saturday night. Friday in November and a Saturday on December. So there'll be like the sip and shop where you can go around and you can try different things and while you're shopping. So there's some great events coming up. We're looking forward to the holiday parade. You know, everything's in motion right now. So, and that's always a great night event. And we're looking at additional lighting. So really exciting time for the holidays in Santa Paula.
Yeah.
Santa Paula is always cool during the holidays. It's cool all year, but I mean, it's cool, especially during the holidays. You know?
And let's give credit to Halloween. So the community center is going to be doing a trunk or treat. I talked to them a little bit about that. So White Rabbit's going to be there, hopefully, if they still have room. But we're going to do balloon animals for the kids too.
Yeah, and that's such a great event. I know, what was it last year where they actually closed part of Steckel and they had like the cars lined up, and so they do some great stuff. The community, so they're going to put this like spooky hallway, and
Yeah.
so it's kind of cool what they do. And credit to their staff; they're very creative in how they do this. But it's a fun event. It is a hugely fun event,
Yeah.
And I'm happy because I get to take my grandkids this year to it. So they're old enough now where we can go and check it out.
How old are they?
Well, they're coming up on 2 years old, so
Okay.
they're going to have a good time there. We
They're
didn't
going to
do-
leave crying,
Of course they are.
and then they're going to be traumatized,
Yeah,
and they're
but-
going to be like, "Thanks, Grandpa."
But mom, dad, both moms and dads and grandparents, we'll score some candy.
That's right. Because
Yeah.
anytime you have a kid in your hand, you can bring that.
How many
trick or
times
treat-
I did that
Yeah.
with my kids? We sort out the candy to get rid of the stuff that's not good for them.
Yep.
All the good Reese's peanut butter cups, all these, those good things. So everything that we like, parents like, they sift through all that. But no, that's a great event. I know we just had a great Taste of Santa Paula, which was a fantastic event, one of the best events we put on. And it was great because all the proceeds from ticket sales and stuff 100% went back to all the businesses. So, we thank our sponsors. We had Limoneira, we had Edison, SoCal Gas, and we had Athens. We're all good supporters of this event too. So yeah, we've been doing a lot of cool things in Santa Paula. Amongst cruise night, the last cruise night was great. The first Sunday was great for the museums. So, like we always say, there's always something going on in Santa Paula.
Yeah.
But really good to see the public engaged. And we're starting to get some good traction outside of Santa Paula for people, which relates to the Tourism Bureau.
Yeah.
That we've been working on too.
Yeah. There's definitely a lot more people coming into the city, which is great.
Yeah. And we're working on a tourism plan. And, we talked about it yesterday, and looking forward to some good things coming out at the beginning of the year for the Tourism Bureau too.
Right.
So in 2 months.
In 2
2
months.
months plus 2+ months.
With some advertising and
Yes,
things
some
of that
great
nature.
advertising on a larger scale. And so it's really good to see what we're trying to do, and the cooperation of everybody, even from all three communities. It's been great.
Yeah, and I'm grateful that we finally get to move forward on something.
It's been probably a 2-year process, but things take time, but we're doing it right. I think
Yeah.
we're doing it the right way.
Yep.
And so, and all three communities, Santa Paula, Fillmore, and Piru, and the county have all been great contributors to all this as well.
Yeah.
So,
So what's coming up in the future?
so the future,
We got the trunk or treat.
trunk or treat coming up. We have Ghost Walk. Ghost Walk starts this Friday. They're actually going to start at the train depot in my office. That's where you check in. So they're going to be there Friday, Saturday, Sunday, the next 3 weekends. Go on ghostwalk.com. You can visit the Santa Paula Theater Center site. There's a link there as well. But if you haven't been to Ghost Walk, it's a really cool event. They're going to do the whole walk around the whole complex right there where the train depot, the agriculture museum, and so on. Really great stories. The people that dress up are awesome.
Yeah.
What they do. But yeah, just go on the website. There's a lot of tickets available. I know they've got a lot of tickets purchased already, but
Yeah, I think Ghost Walk is a hugely popular event.
How did they secure ghostwalk.com?
They got
They have
ghostwalk.com.
ghostwalk.com. That's their website. I blows me away how somebody was
Wow.
thinking forward years ago when they started doing this.
Yeah,
And they have this site, and I think it's so cool,
that's amazing.
Yeah, you don't see that.
That's
can you imagine what
like,
the value of that
oh, I
site
can
is?
just imagine.
Yeah, but it's so cool that they did that. Somebody thought about that years ago.
Yeah.
So, but no, it's a great event, and they go around different areas of the community. And this is the second time they're doing the train depot. They did this 5 years ago, right before the pandemic, and so no, it's cool. I've been to it several times, and it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, and it's always packed.
Yeah.
So that's a really good fundraiser.
And
for
they
them.
get the students from the high school that participate too, the theater group up there. So it's really cool.
Yeah.
It's such a cool event. So we have that coming up. We'll have one more business roundtable before Thanksgiving. We're going to do that on the 21st of November. We have the Boys and Girls Club have their Christmas tree event, and that's on the, if I'm not mistaken, it's the second Saturday of November, and that's a luncheon. So we'll talk more about that probably next week about how you can sponsor a tree. So yeah,
I actually did a show at one of those Christmas tree events.
so they're doing it again at the club. So we'll kind of talk a little bit about more about it at our board meeting coming up. There's Santa Paula Beautiful coming up this Saturday. So if you haven't signed up for that, do that. Go to the Parks and Rec department, and you can sign up to volunteer for that. Athens has a compost giveaway. They're doing that the same day over at the Corporation Yard. So there's a lot of things happening again this weekend, but go to the SantaPaulaChamber.com website. You can go to spcity.org. You can go to our tourism bureau site, which is
HeritageValleyCA.org.
Yep, and your site
and
for shows.
thomagic.org. We have a Spellbound show coming up. Daryl Charles.
I saw the added for that.
Yes.
For that. Yeah. Okay.
It's funny because for the longest time I was calling him Charles, and I'm like, oh, that's your last name, Daryl. Okay, so you have two first names for your name.
Okay. Wow.
So,
all right. Yeah.
but he's really good. His first time with us at Spellbound.
Okay.
So that should be a good show.
That's this Friday.
And we'll have nachos.
Okay. Yeah, I know there's a comedy show at El Capriccio this weekend too. This Friday, they're doing an outdoor comedy show in their back patio.
Nice.
Yeah. So the Hangar Bar still does their comedy show. They do karaoke during the week too. There's a lot of things. You just have to go visit these sites and go to like El Capriccio. You can go to their social media page and look at what they're doing. They've announced that. Same thing with the Hangar Bar. So you can find everything if you just look. Social media is the best way to get all the information if you're curious.
I'm really hoping that the HeritageValleyCA.org becomes the hub for the things that are going on, so that people can go to a single site, figure out what they want to do, and they're not going to miss anything. Because
and we're looking at that on a city level too. We're exploring a couple options. Jonathan and I are to do this major one-stop shop thing,
right?
If it's feasible too, and that can tie into like the Heritage Valley and all the other sites too.
Sure.
So so we'll see where that goes.
Okay.
But, lots of things happening. So
say it again.
But there's always something happening in Santa Paula, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
And now, who had that tagline first? Because if you go to the Fillmore, or if you go to the Santa Paula Theater Center at one of their shows, they say there's always something happening at the Santa Paula Theater Center.
I don't know. That's we're borrowing it if somebody already said it. You know what I mean? But it's true. We're telling the truth.
Yes. Yes, there is always something happening.
A lot of people around the county say there's always something happening in Santa Paula. Every weekend you go, there's something going on there. And
yes,
it's true. There's always something happening, and if there is no event, then you can go to the museums and all that. They've got little things going on with it. We have Dia de los Muertos coming up too. The event at that Sunday after Thanksgiving. After Halloween, they do an event at all three museums, the two museums and the cemetery. So that'll be coming up too. So we'll put that together and talk about it next week.
Okay.
We'll start getting that together.
And maybe we can get somebody on the event to come in as a guest.
Yeah.
So, all right. So that is our show.
Action-packed. A lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Well, we hadn't had an opportunity. We had guests, so this is a good chance.
I know. That's right.
This is for us to catch up.
We've we were kind of on a little track there for guests. We will be doing a remote show pretty soon.
One last thing, we have I always forget how to say it, but the Isabella Project is having an event on October 19th on Saturday. That's at Glen City School. So we'll come up with some information on that next week too. So
okay,
it's a great community.
Still haven't heard anything yet.
Yeah, I know. We're working on it. Promotions are just coming out. So
all right,
so we'll talk about all that too.
Okay, all right. Anyways, so thanks for listening. We will be back next week. We will be doing a remote show at Gathering Place, so stay tuned on a date for that. And thank you, Athens, for the equipment, the computer that's doing the broadcast, the microphones, and some other things. We appreciate it. And with that, stay safe.
This has been a Rough Edge Studios production.